Sometimes when you really read atheistic authors or articles by atheistic scientists, you're simply floored by their poor thinking. I mean, the mixed up thinking that these rascals go to eradicate the possibility of God is simply amazing. I'll show it to you in a minute. There's a man in history, George Wald's his name, very famous man in his own right. He died in 1997, I believe, born in 1906. God has a way of keeping these fellows alive a lot longer than I would if I were sovereign. But he's very famous, and as more I've read about him, he has some astonishing achievements. He's a Nobel Prize winner in physiology for work he did, I think, on the retina and the pigments of the eye. He shared with some people. He seems to have been a real activist. By 1970, he's predicting that the world will end in 15 to 30 years. Well, it's 2025. He might have been off. What do you think? But what do you think the cause of that quick demise of the Earth in 1970 was going to be? You already know the answer. It's going to be environmental. It's going to be the same humbug stuff they're still preaching today. It's going to be dead every 15 years, and it seems like it just hasn't worked out for these fellows. Now, I will say they never come back and admit they're wrong. I can't find anything where he decided to just tell you he was wrong. It's very hard for them to do. They just don't have enough strength to do that. Now, I'm just going to read you a quote by George that I find fascinating. But I do want you to know he became so prominent that he went with Ramsey Clark during the Iran hostage crisis. Ramsey Clark chose him for some reason, of all people. He was just a pacifist, as all these fellows tend to be, like Bertrand Russell. And he went to, as part of the delegation, to try to bring peace in the midst of the Iran hostage crisis. Now, the Iranians must have found him at least very amusing. It's just amazing to me that he would be selected for that. I'd like to know who else was on that particular delegation. Maybe there were no other available people. But listen to this quote by George Wald, and if you have a real love for, let's say, mutton chops or something, look up George's picture. He really excelled at that particular thing. It was probably the highlight of his life, to be honest. Listen to this. This is a professor. This is a man who's supposed to be well-schooled in science, which they always preach, as Darwin did. You have a heart of stone. You don't care about the outcome. You don't care anything. Science is free from all that bias. Well, the one thing science is not free from, and never has been, is bias. Nobody is more biased, it appears, in history. If you give it a fair reading, the average man has biases, but not like these fellows. Listen to this. However improbable regard spontaneous origin of life to be, it will most certainly happen at least once, meaning have happened at least once is what he means. The time, well, maybe 2 billion years, the order of 2 billion years, he says. Now listen closely to this. Given so much time, 2 billion years, of his own declaration, you're going to find out in a minute, he has another quote where he made it 3 billion years, because apparently it became a little bit more inconceivable, and we just upped it 1 billion years. Okay? No problem with these guys. It's always, he could have said 5 billion. Nobody pays attention to billions, because very few people understand. Let me interrupt his quote by saying this. It takes 12 days, just short of 12 days, to go have 1 million seconds. 1 billion is not 1 million. 1 billion is 1,000 times that. So if it takes almost 12 days for 1 million seconds to go by, how long do you think it takes for 1 billion seconds to go by? The answer would be just shy of 32 years. 12 days compared to 32 years. The difference between 1 million and 1 billion, significant. But not to these guys. He just went from 2 billion to 3 billion, and maybe 4 years, it looks like, by the dating of these things. So listen to this again. Given so much time, the impossible becomes possible. Okay? The possible becomes probable, and the probable virtually certain. One is only to wait. Time itself performs the miracles. I'll leave it to you to see how desperate this man was.